everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Though it hasn't always been spot on in recent months, one tale about Paul Foreman's motor neuron disease has been handled brilliantly on Coronation Street. Viewers have witnessed the adored figure, who lost his ability to walk, communicate, and eat, gradually deteriorate since learning of his life-limiting illness in April of last year. Even though it's a rare sickness to see on TV, Corey has used the soap opera format to meticulously and sympathetically tell Paul's journey over an extended period of time, with Peter Ash giving a great performance. As Paul's MND progresses, he faces more difficulties. The show decided to highlight Paul's perspective in a special episode, which aired tonight, July 26. The goal of the program was to literally take viewers inside the mind of an individual with motor neuron disease, MMND. This was achieved in the opening scene, which featured a dream scenario in which Paul and his spouse, Billy, danced freely. It was unexpected to see Paul back on his feet and in good health because fans had been following his condition so intently for the past 15 months. However, the dream quickly became a nightmare, and Paul woke up feeling imprisoned inside his own body. Overnight, his speech had also become more erratic. Paul will soon be limited to the apartment until they can find another place to live, as he has just received word that using the stairlift is no longer safe for him. Billy decided to give Paul one last outdoor day as a result. The pair went back to the church where they were married. As shown by some moving old film Paul remembers from that memorable day, David received an added surprise when they went to the Rovers, where his buddies were assembled. He turned a pint of ale into foam bubbles Paul could taste using a device called a biozoon, which is designed for people who are unable to swallow. This episode also featured another innovative element. Viewers were able to hear Paul's inner monologue thanks to an additional voiceover. This demonstrated his dissatisfaction with his illness because he can no longer express his true thoughts and feelings. In a very tragic instance, Billy heard Paul tell him he loved him, but Billy misinterpreted it as a request to use the restroom, leaving Billy with a depressing inner monologue. Upon the announcement of this special episode, people had fears that Paul would be taking his own life on this final day out, and that this would be his last program. Paul took this choice soon after receiving his diagnosis, since he didn't want his illness to worsen and eventually take its course. Indeed, while on their excursion, Paul came to the realization that the moment had come. He informed Todd of this choice as soon as possible. He bid farewell to Gemma, Summer, and Bernie. But Todd knew he was going to do this. Back at the apartment, he bid his pal a very heartfelt goodbye. Having made up his mind, Paul started to play "Oh Happy Day," the song that he and Billy had decided would indicate when he was ready to pass away. The words of their cherished song stood in for the words he was no longer able to use. Billy's face was heartbreaking when he heard the song's opening words because he realized he was not ready for this day and never would be, and he refused to accept this. Corey didn't overdo it with fancy effects or ingenious format changes, even though this episode is notable for its inventiveness. The second half of the program is essentially a two-hander between Paul and Billy, and its brilliance lies in its simplicity. Peter Ash and Daniel Brocklebank gave some amazing performances as they talked about Paul's decision in a heartfelt way, and eventually Billy realized it was time. At this moment, the episode's terrible conclusion looked inevitable, but things didn't turn out as expected. Billy interrupted them to ask Paul again if this was what he wanted, then Chesney called. Billy and Paul offered to watch the other children for the evening when Curry's was taken to the hospital, putting Paul's plan on hold for the time being. Joseph, who had become nervous around Paul, informed him he had read a book about motor neuron disease, MND, and now knew more about it. He also expressed the hope that tomorrow would bring better feelings. As the new day broke, Paul and Billy fell back into a fantasy together on the couch, this time taking them to a make-believe beach. Moments of intimacy and stillness have become rare as even soap operas start to pick up speed. These exchanges between Paul and Billy, which are growing increasingly valuable with the limited time they have left together, are what really elevated the show. After Chesney picked up the kids, Paul promised them he will see them soon, but not today, to Billy. He was not ready to leave yet. We are relieved for Billy and ourselves that we haven't had to say goodbye to Paul and Peter Ash, even if the end is drawing near. We appreciate Billy's want for more time and are glad that there are still some moments, even though there aren't many. It's significant to remember that Rob Barrow, a former rugby player and activist who advised Corey's MND plot and passed away from the illness just a month ago, was honored with this special episode. Although Paul's narrative is not yet finished, this episode will surely go down in history as a turning point in a plot that has been expertly portrayed and has raised a great deal of awareness, thus continuing Rob's legacy. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our channel Street Gossip for more update news.